All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Another lovely day in cryptocurrency land. I'm not going to say it today. That's on you, bud. I'm not saying that today. Probably not. I don't know. We'll see where the journey takes us, but I'm not anticipating and talking about that today. So you can do that. What up, Mike? Everybody say hi to Mike. Yeah, nibbling and ETH's not bad. Yeah, I'm not too mad at that. I mean, I'm not sure if it's ready to go quite yet, but I'm not mad at ETH. ETH isn't too bad. It's got to be one of the ones that's. I mean, it's in a channel now. You know, it was kind of floundering about, but it popped back up the other day, so I think it's in a pretty decent spot. What's up, Ian? Wait a minute, you Ian or the other Ian? I don't know. At one point, way too many Ians. So, all right, let's get right to it. BTC, not really doing much. You're the OG Ian. There you go. You're the O Ian. I'm just making stuff up. Yeah, BTC not doing a whole heck of a lot. I mean, it's been pretty stable, which is nice. I'm not mad at it. It's not something that I think we can get hugely behind. We do have a trend line here that's been going on for a couple of weeks now. It's nice to hold us up. We're still under the auspices of this inverted head and shoulders pattern. Although we've only had one up day, everything else has been a rejection going into those recent highs. But we're not backing away too far. We could try to pop back up, and we'll see if we do. I mean, on one side, I definitely think we go up a little bit. I'm just not sure how much higher up we can go. We're still. I mean, we've been saying the end of the year. ETH BTC? No, I don't. But yeah, we'll throw it on there. Yeah, I don't think that. You know, we need to get through the end of the year, and then I think we'll see what's up. Other than that, hey, what up, English? Yeah, hit the like button. There you go. Hit the like button. So someone else can watch Bitcoin go sideways too. Bitcoin's just sideways. It's pretty much all there is to do. What's up, Ram? Good morning, bud. I put GRT on here for you today. GRT's doing okay. Kind of. Yeah, so BTC is BTC sideways. I think we'll try to go up a little bit and we'll see what happens. It's really gonna be sometime in January, probably. Or December 17th. I'm just gonna throw that out there. It's probably going to be December 17th because this is crypto. It's like the Christmas of crypto is December 17th. And some years were good boys, some years were bad boys, but we always get something on December 17th. It seems that, at least it seems that way. So we're sideways here. I did have an alert level here that's really been chopped through. I don't have a great one. The only other one I could probably throw up here is the 17,695. But even that one, that is the low from over here. We're not really, we're not really in a market that gives us really great levels. We have a spike up here, a little bit above that. Other than that, we're above most of the lower resistance, but not much above it. Actually, if you look at the 2-hour time frame, we are right at this high, which is one of the highs coming down here, and we're playing with it, not going very far. We don't have a lot of momentum. That could change by Monday. Obviously, the new week could bring us some new news or just more buying pressure for some reason. But I really think it's going to be the end of the year. These next couple of weeks are probably just going to be choppy at best. I mean, it'd be great if we had to run into them. I just mentioned December 17th. That's always a thing. So we'll see how that goes. Measured move from this inverted head and shoulders, those 18.1. It's not really very far. So it's Mike was chatting a little bit in Slack and talking about it's really hard to do anything. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just trying to wait it out. I'm really not doing anything, to be honest with you. I'm just waiting. I mean, if we pop up 15, 20% and I miss it, I'm okay with that because if I try to trade this, I'll lose that 10, 15, 20%. And that's more unpalatable than missing out on gains. So I'd rather miss out on gains than lose money. And I think that's the theme for 2022. in reality, because it has been an abysmal year, to be quite frank with you. It really has not been a great year. Better years to come. Better years to come. Maybe 2023 will go sideways for all of 2023, and then maybe we'll turn up in 2024. I don't know. We'll see. Crown, for reasons I can explain, is short-term bullish. It's made you a little more attentive. Um, yeah, but to what extent? I mean, we've uh, from one a good thing down here. I will say this. Let's go full screen on the daily. Let's get rid of lines and stuff too. I think, and let's go to this index chart so the volume isn't all wonky on us. I think one thing that's good is that we're lower volatility. I think that's one thing that's good. The bad thing is that we still haven't done anything. I mean, we're still under the auspices of a lot of trend lines, and we are still just chopping around lower. Another good thing is that even given all the FTX garbage, we still haven't dropped very far considering the scale of FTX and Sam being taken out as a crypto um, statesman, if you will. I thought he was going to bring a lot of good things to crypto and kind of take it to the next space. Instead, he decided to be a douchebag and lose $30 billion. I mean, jeez. Isn't that crazy to build something like FTX and just decide to fuck it up? Like, that was a decision. That was a decision. If he wanted money, all he had to do was sell like 10% of FTX and he got two to $3 to $4 billion. It seems pretty straightforward to me. But what do I know? I don't create empires and lose them, I guess. But yeah, I mean, from a technical analysis perspective, it's good that we haven't dropped that much. The total market cap, that's interesting. Is that interesting? I think I have total down here somewhere. There it is. We don't look at this that often. Yeah, this almost mirrors the BTC chart for the most part. Let's see what we have here with trend lines. So we are playing with some very long-term trend lines on total market cap. Actually, I think these are lines from Mike going back to 2015, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, over here. So undercutting, not a good thing. It wouldn't be so bad if we pop back up, but what this tells you is that this multi-year cycle in crypto, I gotta switch over to a different time frame here. This multi-year cycle in crypto, could be coming to an end. Last time we had some type of a major trend line break was this. So this was a major trend line break, and we did go down through the middle of, found resistance at it, and we actually kind of found resistance up here at the highs. And so you can see that maybe we take an approach like this where we come down and then we get back up here and then we fail again. I don't know, just conjecture at this point. But usually when you start to notice trend lines like this start to break and then, you can't get back above them. Now, I do want to say these trend lines, you cannot sustain these forever in perpetuity. This would make Bitcoin, $1 quadrillion asset in 30 years, which seems, I don't know, with inflation probably could happen, but doesn't seem very likely. And then you have the next supporting trend line, which, and then you eventually end up with just crazy low sloping trend lines until eventually a baseline is found. And you can almost look at that in the S&P 500. I'm not sure I've done this legitimately with the S&P, and I don't think we have a chart that really goes down far enough. Maybe the dollar, probably not. The dollar's just kind of got a horizontal. It doesn't really increase in value. It really shouldn't. But you get my point. You'll eventually end up with kind of a general, like, hey, that line should never be broken. It would be really bad. This line actually was broken and gave us these points. If you look at the chart, we could have drawn it like this and it crossed here, came down a little bit, giving us kind of a new normal. And that's actually the line we're fighting with right now. So we'll see what happens there. But every time you start to cross these trend lines, it's either a really good buying opportunity or you're setting a new lower trend in terms of acceleration. So if we, let's say we do drop further, we set this as the trend for acceleration, blah, blah, blah. Then we bounce up. Then we're on this trend for acceleration, which is obviously percentage-wise less than this trend of acceleration. So it's kind of like a new normal going on for however long that takes to happen. Got a lot of lines on this chart here. So what if 5 to 10 years Bitcoin is down the list on CoinMarketCap? Ah, Mel, did you go and murder Mike and take his place in the chat? I think that's Mel. I think that's Mike. I think I missed a couple of things here. So yeah, check total market cap of the ROM. Ian said, seems like his stupid girlfriend caused a whole bunch of damage with terrible trading using company funds. That's just him being, I don't know, man. Sex is a hell of a drug. Putting the kids in charge of financial institution didn't work out. Couldn't figure what would happen. Yeah, the guy had access to everybody. I mean, if he wanted somebody at the helm if he really wanted to make FTX a real boy, which everybody thought it was a real boy, but apparently it wasn't. If he wanted to make it a real boy, he could have. And for some reason he chose not to. So. But anyway, talking about that angle of acceleration with trend lines, kind of giving you the story there. I mean, it's a thing for sure. And we've also actually here's the inverted curve, which kind of goes with the Bitcoin distribution, right? You eventually just reach kind of a parity, and where it's only going to be trading on the market value or the perceived market value of BTC. But yeah, so we'll see if we get back down to these levels. Would be a good place to buy though if you get back down, like sub 10K would be just crazy for BTC. It didn't get past the old all-time high on CoinMarketCap. Oh, you mean here? Yeah, I think let's add the BTC chart. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get a good look at it because the values are just so different percentage-wise, and that's the problem with doing this. Index to 100, logarithm, and none of this really does us any justice. I'll just get rid of that. I think I tried it, just didn't work out. The old all-time high? Well, here's total market cap. We got past this all-time high. This was 2017. And we did have a higher high here. Let's go to BTC. We did have a higher high there. So I'm not sure what you mean by the old all-time high. We actually did exceed it. There it is. We did exceed the old all-time high. Oh, break down as much as Bitcoin did? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I don't know if that's anything to be that bullish about. So longer term, it's a good thing, I think, because if we haven't broken down further, it implies that even though there's a good amount of selling pressure, it's not market breaking selling pressure. So I think the chances that we come back are better than if it were lower, obviously. I mean, if this thing were just, diving and just crazily taking out all these lines, it would not be a good thing. Make of the grayscale Bitcoin situation. I'm actually not educated on that, Loopy. Let's look it up. I don't know what's going on with that. GBTC discount wide says DeFi fund now trading. Is it just has to do with the parity difference between their trust and Bitcoin's price? Debut of DEFG fund in over-the-counter market comes Crypto's largest fund is trading a record discount at the center of crypto market speculation. So are they trying to dip their fingers in the pond too, or the pudding, or whatever you want to call it? It says a new DeFi fund has started trading over-the-counter markets. 47% discount to the value of the underlying cryptocurrency. I mean, that could be a buying opportunity if it's just legitimately what it is. Operating business as usual. Speculation about the fund's future has risen among traders and in Twitter recent weeks, swirling questions about finances of Grayscale's parent company, Digital Currency Group, after halting crypto lending operations at another subsidiary. Oh, Genesis Global Capital. CoinDesk is also a subsidiary of Digital Currency Group. Okay. Similar to Grayscale's other multi-asset investment vehicles, the DeFi fund is designed to give investors exposure to price movement of a basket of digital assets through a single investment vehicle via the stock market instead of buying cryptocurrency directly. DEFG Aave compound. So I guess just speculation that they're not solvent. I guess that's what it is. Man, I got no idea. In this day and age, seems like everyone's trying to double dip and trying to leverage themselves up, and it's just, crypto's going to do best when people just get to work and do business rather than speculate. I mean, our job is to speculate, and that's fine. We're just people. But when these companies that have people's funds at risk, they should not be speculating. FTX should not be speculating. Binance should not be speculating. They have a business to run. They're facilitators. That's their job. So yeah, I don't know in terms of this. I wonder if they have a chart about it. But a 47% discount right now, that's what are we at? 17,000? And it's basically half. So it's akin to Bitcoin trading at $8,500. I mean, that's not too bad. If it's a legit thing, I don't know if you can arbitrage that. That'd be a hell of an arbitrage. But I wonder if they'd even let you take the money out, like if you're to buy, because I don't think you can get Bitcoin from Grayscale. But that'd be one hell of an arbitrage. If that were real, you probably wouldn't see it going down that much. So you probably can't take Bitcoin out. Private placement, close, invest through your brokerage account. Blocking chart URLs? Last time I checked, I was allowing everything through. So, I don't know, maybe omit a .com or .net or something like that. Accredited investor. Oh, only applies to private placements. Yeah, but I don't think you can get, redemptions of shares are not currently authorized. So you cannot get Bitcoin. You can arbitrage this. This is basically a derivative of Bitcoin is pretty much what it is. I'm not going to go too much deeper into it, but B2C holdings share market price. Yeah. Oh, here's a chart right here. There you go. So market price gets over exuberant on the way up and then is under exuberant on the way down. So it's actually trading at a pretty good discount. It's not bad, but it's actually been trading at a discount for quite a while. So ever since the first top, it's basically been trading at a discount. Yeah, exactly. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I'm not a million percent sure the dynamics on it. I'll search it. On Y charts here. It may be the same chart we just saw. Oh, there's 5 years. That's got to be its inception. There's probably not more data than that. Yeah, that's the lowest it's ever been. I guess the question is, when is low too low? And what is it? Is GBTC? Yeah, here it is. I was gonna say, I thought I may have it. What I was gonna say is you can probably look for, and I'm not gonna say it the Coin Bros Bitcoin ATMs. I'm not going to say it, but you could look for a volume of a certain type down here. Maybe is some investor confidence at some point. Obviously, it ain't today. I mean, it looks like it was just taken to the woodshed, beaten with your daddy's belt to the tune of 33%. So it's not today, but maybe someday we'll try to break a trend and we'll start to go back up again. But volume may be your key. It's hard to tell because if you look at the volume on this, it doesn't have big volume at lows at all. I mean, maybe this is just more of a retail instrument than anything else. Here's a little bit of volume here, but I mean, you're not running home telling mommy about, oh, look at this great volume on GBTC today. You had a lot more others. So I don't know. Maybe volume is not going to be the key here. It should be, but I mean, you can see it usually gets the most volume on really hyped days, not necessarily getting supported by institutions at lows. So I'm not sure what the mechanism is behind this price action, but yeah, I guess if you've got exposure, I mean, you could probably put something like this in a Roth IRA or something at some point if it's still solvent, in several months when things maybe suss themselves out, or hey, maybe December 17th. Something could be bad for the price or good if you're looking to cheat BTC. Well, I think the thing to realize here, this is a derivative product of Bitcoin. So if you're going to buy Grayscale, you should be looking at this chart right here, either the Binance chart or the index chart, and make your decision here. You don't make your decision based on the Bitcoin Grayscale unless you see that massive volume, you see a level of support or something step in. You don't want to buy it willy-nilly. You want to make a big boy decision to buy it. I think that's what needs to happen. So, no, I think it's good that it's on your radar. I'm not so sure it's the time to get in yet. I mean, a 47% discount could turn into a 55% discount, which could turn into a 65. We don't know. That is an interesting chart, though, this 48% down. If you look at it, it looks like it's extending to the downside rather than flattening out or curling up. So from a technical perspective, you don't want to be investing in something as it's starting to point down. You want to see something in a chart somewhere that indicates support, and then that is a good time to get in, because until there's support, there's no bottom. That's the key to stuff like that. Even if you're looking at other stuff like the TQQQ and the NASDAQ, if you're looking at that kind of stuff, you want to see similar things. So, here we're holding off the lows. We get a little bit of support. Now, this is futures volume, so it's not analogous to what's actually happening. But at the same time, it can give you some sense. And we're holding up okay. I mean, Apple is kind of everything to everybody, and it's holding okay. It looks like it got a little bit of a reprieve from potential calamity on its chart. So it's just, this is one of those times where every move is the wrong move. It just is. This is not the time to be taking big risks. In terms of your Black Swan event, it's so rare that those happen. That's why they're called black swans. I mean, the only one that was somewhat foreseen was COVID. This was the only one that was somewhat foreseen right here. That was it. Other than COVID, 2008 was a black swan event, which is why Michael Berry's so famous. Otherwise, he'd just be he's some weird autistic dude, No one saw 2018 coming. I mean, there's a lot of, and these aren't black swan events, these are bear markets, but a black swan event, 2020, I think this would be considered a black swan event, which is why the Fed stepped in so aggressively. 2008 was a black swan event because it just kept getting worse and worse. I don't know if we have that today. If you look at the angle of these trends, it's, we draw in here kind of using, I don't remember exactly why I did this, but if you look at the angle of the trend lines, this is your black swan event. Look at the angle of that decline. It's just everybody was selling, taking risk off the table, having to liquidate assets to meet, margin requirements, stuff like that. That's what this implies. That's a black swan event. A black swan event is actually a combination of things. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's a combination of an actual event and people having to liquidate to meet margin requirements. That's legitimately what a black swan event is, There's no reason that assets should sell off. Like, when Square or whatever asset, when that starts to sell off, it's not that, oh, AMD, all their plants closed. That's not what happens. Is that people have to sell to meet margin requirements, and that's why you see the angle of descent. We don't have that angle of descent here. We have a larger structure. We're definitely in a bear market. The economies are definitely not what they used to be. Inflation's really high. All that is weighing on the market, but it's not a black swan event. If you talk about the Grayscale liquidation, yeah, who knows? Who knows? I think is the right way. If you're looking to buy, just sit there with your little plan about, I'm gonna buy so many shares if and when blah blah blah, and then just be an observer. Each bounce up on the Nasdaq is weaker. This one looks more of a struggle than the last two in this bear market. Yeah, I guess we'll talk about stocks now since we're on it already. Um, yeah, I was thinking something similar. To be quite frank with you, this resistance line, I'm not really that. I'm a little bit encouraged that we're still holding up. We obviously haven't crossed through it yet. I'm hoping we found some lows because we do have that RSI divergence going on here between here. I think it is. Maybe it's not the Nasdaq. Some of them has a RSI divergence, at least a hidden divergence, if nothing else, between the lows. But I mean, I'm hopeful. Like I've been saying, it's just going to take time. And I think reading too much into action like that, I agree with your sentiment that it's had a hard time getting up. That's for sure. It's also had a harder time going down. So, which just leads to chop. It hasn't been trending in either direction. It just leads to chop, which just to us means patience, means, be informed, keep your lookout, do those things, then go about your business because who cares? Because we're not doing anything anyways. We don't need to pay extreme attention to these markets right now because for the most part, these are really great times to do homework. Really, I haven't had an opportunity to, but this is a great time to go back and look at old choppy markets. Look at this time frame. From 2000 over to 2010, 2015 is when things started really popping. I mean, this is a really good time to go see, to go do homework. This is a great time to do homework because it's a lot more interesting than watching whatever the hell we're trying to watch these days. But all this action, so viewing in terms of the Nasdaq, viewing in terms of the S&P. Yeah, so here's the S&P. S&P was much more choppy than the Nasdaq was, but this is the S&P, and so here's when it finally broke the high, 2013, I guess. But, go back, go research what were the leaders in these particular times. Why did they lead? When did they give up their leadership? Things of that nature. Investors Business Daily, they're the ones that really introduced leadership to me, and I don't think they have a great job of going through market cycles. That would be a good exercise to do. But going through these cycles, like look at this cycle. This is a good cycle from 2003 up into 2008 where we double topped. And I don't know if that was a coincidence or what, but happened to be right when the housing crisis started. Just one of those things, you never know, but definitely a double top. And, that would have put a lot of traders on edge, and then obviously shit hit the fan. But, what rallied here? What was new in the marketplace? Obviously Apple, right? What was new? Apple, Amazon. What was new in the marketplace? What was gaining traction? And then, how did it end? And then we obviously know the end of 2008. And then coming out of that, like, what does that look like in the stocks themselves? Like, if you want to go back to Apple and S&P, obviously Apple's been a leader for just a super extended period of time to the point of being ridiculous. And here's another one that we're probably not going to be able to see it very well, which sucks. Oh, there we go. It's better than nothing. Logarithmic. Maybe percent. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, if you zoom out here, we want to go to 2000. So let's start it in 2000. So here's 2000. You got the Nasdaq, Apple in the orange line and the S&P on this line. So June 2000, we're on the weekly. Okay. And so you can see here, it goes flat for a very long period of time. It leads the rally in 2004, comes out of a big horizontal here, gets support, blah blah blah. You got a maybe a small double bottom here, it looks like, and then it starts to rally. But being able to identify these and avoiding most of this is key. You know, I mean, if somebody was really aggressive and bought down here, you were handsomely rewarded. But you know, waiting a little bit longer for that really isn't the end of the world, because you never know what's going to happen in these situations. And that's another thing right now, is that we don't know. We don't know if we're walking into a 2018 situation. So there's three possible scenarios here, and one's probably unlikely now that I'm thinking about it. There's this one where we just chop sideways, and we're obviously not that sideways, so that's out. We have, you know, this 2018, which comes back with a vengeance, and 2020, which comes back with a vengeance. And I'm not sure we're coming back with a vengeance this time. It just doesn't feel that way. It just feels like everyone is more cautionary. Everyone's aware of inflation now. Everyone is aware that, you know, the Fed's not going to be doing the same quantitative easing they've been doing for 20 years. It's probably not going to be the same. If it is the same, then maybe we'll go off on a similar trajectory. But if it's not the same, then do we go full on crazy bear market, or chop around like we did in the 70s and chop around like we did in the early 2000s here? So those are the questions. And then if we get a very choppy market for the next decade, how do we handle that as individual money managers? Okay, because you're not just traders, you're money managers. How do you deal with this? Do you swing trade the ups and get out during the downs? That's an excellent way to do it, but you know, you've got to kind of prepare for that, which is fine. That's what I'm thinking about, actually, is when we go back, TQQ it up with some potential options and growth stocks, and then just bail, and then wait to see, because you know we can come up and do this as well, and then bounce up. You know, I'm okay being cash here as long as I capture some of this, but you have to be ready for that, and you have to be willing to kind of let a lot of this go. And the same goes for crypto. I mean, it's all the same. It's all the same stuff. But yeah, so in terms of these bounce ups being weaker, that's why it's so hard to enter into anything heavy, because you just never know. If inflation truly is petering off and is coming to an even keel, then maybe, you know, the first half of this next year we may start to see some normalcy again. But it's going to take a while. This is not, you know, hey, the Fed's going to bail us out. No, the Fed's shooting us in the foot at the moment. No one's bailing us out. And this is a market environment that no one has seen in our investing lifetimes. All right. We still haven't even talked about crypto yet. Good stuff, guys. Oop, wrong list. All right, let's move back to BTC, and probably move past BTC if I can get my chart set up right. We'll move on to Ethereum. So yeah, BTC, we do have some alert levels here, 17,082. I think that is this one. So we're already past that one. We'll see if we get up here. We'll see if we're able to get up. But like I've just been saying, I don't think we're going to be going anywhere. It's just not, it's not the right environment for just, you know, massive trades, being very aggressive. It just doesn't feel that way to me. So, okay, so there's BTC. If we break the trend line, it could be a decent short. If we do finally definitively break it, we can extend it out a little bit. Yeah, so some upside I think still could be on the table, but until we get past 21,471, which is this alert level, I mean, and we're nowhere near that, it's still going to be a rough road. All right, next up, let's take a look at Ethereum. And ETH is in a little bit of a better spot, a nice little bull flag up here, holding nice and tight. I'm not mad at this one. It's not my favorite, but there's definitely been worse charts out there. We are breaking this trend line, chopping through it, not such a bad way. You could try to extend that, but I don't know. Something's got to give. I'm not sure which way it's going to be, but we are still generally lower, although I do like the bull channel. I'm not really buying anything right now. Like I said, I'm just taking my time until the end of the year, and we'll see where we're at. I don't mind missing a pop, but I'm not sure we'll get it. It's just tough. Yeah, any little pumping immediately sold. I mean, it's more clear on Bitcoin's chart than it is on Ethereum's chart, but you got You got all these little pops up here. Look at the VA tool. Now the buying pressure did, take over for a minute, but you can just see the chop on especially on the VA tool. Maybe kind of hard to see, but it's just kind of green, red, 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 green. It's just chop. So you're right. It is immediately being sold into. There's no sustained. I mean, like Ethereum, it's a nice channel, but where does it get you? If this is your bull, you could probably take a measured move out of this if you really wanted to, but where are you going up to? Where you just sold off from? So who cares? It's, take it for a trade and let the rest be. All right, next up is Hex. And Hex with a little bit of a descending triangle, which is bullish. We'll see if that's going to do anything. Hex has just been putting in motions, lower lows, unfortunately. And it'd be nice to get a pop-up, but you can see the clear resistance. Putting those two, we could get up to that 4-cent level before maybe rolling over again. BNB. BNB over here, not doing anything spectacular either. Pretty much nothing is. We are trying to break sideways through this pennant. Not such a bad thing. But given the market conditions, it's not necessarily something we need to participate in. XRP, similar situation. Most of these top 20s are going to be similar situations. Not much to participate in. We're looking for, a change in behavior, and we're just not seeing any kind of change in behavior really in anything right now. Dogecoin, a little bit lower, nothing crazy. Took a leg down middle week, and it's just with the trend. Again, nothing crazy, nothing to get too excited about. Next up is Cardano. Holding the lows is pretty intriguing, although there's not a lot of price action. If you look at the daily, look at how small our ranges are compared to what they were in this larger downward sloping flag pennant thing. I can't think of words, but dropped down, came in, resisted, came down. Now we're just doing whatever that is. So nothing good going on here. Solana, choppy chop. Been sideways for about a week. 1512, I think is still valid. This thing could try to pop up. Maybe there's the inability to sell off, I think, is pretty good in Solana, particularly given the circumstances. I haven't been keeping up with the community, or if they're still being developed, or if their commits have dropped off or anything like that. Be good to know if you're going to invest in it. All right, next up is Matic, which is doing okay in its range here. Nothing outstanding. Declining volume's pretty good. Volume aggregation tool taking a little bit of a bullish stance lately, so that's not too bad. And Matic has been one of the better behaving cryptos of late. Barring this whole thing right here, which it is what it is, but has been behaving very, very well. Still one of the better ones. All right, DOT, choppy sideways garbage. Really nothing to go over here. Next up is Tron. And Tron has been a little more bullish lately. I threw an arbitrary level up here when we were over here. And it looks like it's getting resistance just breaking this high. So we'll see if it's going to do anything. But volume, as you can see, there's not a lot of buying pressure here as it tries to go higher. Could be better short, but it's hard to know exactly when to short it until you see a major topping candle, which this one is not. So that one is also unactionable. Next up is Shiba Swap, which is garbage as usual. AVAX, also pretty garbage as usual. A little bit of a bull flag, but it's just nothing doing. You don't need to be worried about these right now. Atom, Uniswap, I'm sorry, is still flagging out. Not too bad because it is a bull flag. Not too great either, though, considering the fact that it's really not doing anything. But if it does pop up, it did have a good run to give it the flag, so we'll see if it's going to be able to do that again. But you really need volume behind you. Next up is Atom. And Atom, a bit of a inverted head and shoulders feel to it, although if you look at the volume signature, this is not lower volume than the head. So if you can't see it, shoulder, head, shoulder, could consider that a shoulder too, but you should end up with like a declining volume similar to this, implying that selling pressure is eroding away. Here you have the head volume equal with this right shoulder volume. which isn't necessarily such a good thing. If you want to be aggressive with this, you could try to get it off of maybe this high. That would coincide with a trend line break. And if you're interested, I'm not going to alert on that, but if you are, it's 9.9. 9.9 is it. And then 1069 is the overall breakout point for Atom if it does decide to go. BTC to the moon. Yeah, if the moon's on the other side of the Earth right now. Yeah, probably. I actually think the moon's sideways. It's just, yeah, the moon's to the left and the right. It's not up or down. All right, Chainlink. What's up, Bleh? Chainlink is choppy. So hit the middle of its range, and now it's just chopping. It is kind of hitting an intermediate support level. There's a bunch of lows kind of right around here. 2 there, 1 there. It does wick underneath here for short periods of time, but if you want to be very aggressive, you could try to do something with that. Yeah, XTZ. Yeah, I got 1 or 2 left, and then we can look at that absolutely. Next up is Litecoin. And so this has kind of been a little bit better lately, but you can see it's not participating. It did try to rally, but it's being pulled back in. We're also not really falling away very much. So it is what that is. Yeah, XTZ USD or BTC? I'll take a peek at it. So Litecoin, much ado about nothing. 79.81. It's an okay alert level. It's not my favorite. But the Litecoin chart is better than most, for sure. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up the top 20 USD. Wrapping up the top 20, a bunch of garbage. Absolute garbage. Just this whole market sucks. And I'd rather be fishing. And you should be too. Even if you don't fish, go learn to fish. Be more productive. Because if everyone's right and the world's going to fall due to overzealous money printing, you should learn how to fish. So I think you should do that immediately. Which means I should learn how to fish because I really don't know how to fish. All right. Let's look at some more stuff. Next up is GRT, USD pairs. Look at GRT. Having a good day today. Having a nice pop-up. The reason I'm highlighting this is volume. I don't have a good alert level. The alert currently, I think, is 1475. This is an older level. Let me double check. But I don't think that's the... Nope, that is 946. That is the alert level. So for whatever that's worth. But GRT's been in a downtrend like everything else. More new lows for GRT. Good volume, though. The last time we had good volume over here, we had excellent volume. That is very excellent volume. But it didn't go anywhere. And it failed very quickly. And then we have distribution here. So this is a little bit different as a cup type of a feel to this. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with it. Hopefully it pops back up, but could just jump into resistance. Bled, real stocks? And no real stocks anymore. The channel really didn't go anywhere, so I wasn't going to put a bunch of time into it. People like crypto, they don't like stocks. At least not my stocks. All right, next up is XTZ. We'll look at XTZ. And I don't know if I have it on here. I do have it on here. Okay. XTZ stuck at a massive bear flag. So this trend line still holding. And this is definitely not good. What would you like to look at there, Coin Bros? You're looking at breakout to the upside. This just looks like a bear flag consolidation type of a setup. This doesn't look like a reversal formation. This is just another consolidation before the next leg down. I mean, you can see it here, rising on low volume, rising on low volume. Both lead to downtrends. What's that trend line? That's an older trend line that held us up before it broke definitively. So definitely in a downtrend. Definitely in a downtrend. Bled, we did talk about stocks a little bit ago. I think we'll circle back and look at some individual names too. All right, next up is BTC pairs. And the first one up is Mask. Don't only have 2 of these, and I actually only had 1. I wanted to look at ETH. So, but the first one up is Mask. We We highlighted this one. I don't remember exactly when, but put an alert on it at 4357. It has been in this cup and handle now for a while. The volume is still looking good in the handle. This looks like a normal cup and handle to me, as a matter of fact. I am going to lower this alert level in case it does try to go. And what I'm going to do, how I'm going to manage this is a breakdown point. It's above the trend line, so I'll take it. But it's about, let's go above this little green wick right here. It's just far enough to give us a little bit of wiggle room and have the possibility for a reversal. So 3,545 is our new level. So usually when I do stuff like this, I try to go above recent highs. It could go above here, but I think it's a little too far. You'd rather be alerted a little bit earlier so you can, try to make a decision and you're not rushing into things. And yeah, I definitely do not recommend rushing into anything right now. So even though this is BTC pairs, this is a USD coin. I have a few of these on here, but these are just little tiny market cap ones. But this is not a bad cup and handle. It's on the daily, has good volume on the way up. Volume aggregation tool looks good. RSI is neutral. This is really primed for if there is going to be a move, this could be one to go. But it may also fail and fall flat on its face. All right, next up is Ethereum. All right, Mike wanted to look at ETH. We have an alert on ETH at 76,009. Looks like from last week sometime, maybe a little before that. Not too bad. It is kind of holding above the trend line. I'm not sure if I would consider this a cup and handle. Volume signature would not be an inverted head and shoulders. So I don't know what it is. It's just a lot of chop. But it's not in a bad spot. If it were to get over this trend line, I think, yeah, we could have something. Let's move this right over these highs, which happens to coincide with kind of where we're at right now. 74,883. Okay. Ichi. All right, let's Ichi it up. Not there yet, but a pop would do it. Ah, we are super tight. Wow, that is very tight. So for those of you uninitiated with Ichimoku Cloud, you need three things. You need this white lagging span to be above current price, which we're very close to. In 2 days, we should get there. Ah, that's a nice one, Loopy. Good job. Our cloud is just straight up sideways. In some points, they're legitimately two lines almost on top of each other. And you need to have this orange line, or this yellow line on top of this orange line, if I remember right. I believe the yellow line is... Yeah, yellow line is like the slow oscillator. Orange line is... Or I'm sorry, the fast oscillator. And this is like the slow oscillator. But it's not an oscillator at all, which is why I'm actually not mad at Ichimoku. It's actually price levels. So we are historically, looks like edging up ever so slightly on Ichimoku. So that's a positive. Yeah, that's a positive for ETH BTC. But the question is, if Ethereum rallies, if ETH BTC rallies, that means that it's either an altcoin rally or BTC. Usually when BTC falls, ETH falls faster. Usually. There has been a couple of instances where that has not been the case. And geez, I just took my glasses off and looked at that chart, and man, it makes it look even more blurry than it already looks with my glasses on. Look at this. Look at the chop. It looks like you're seeing quadruple vision, because you kind of are. Which, if you guys don't know about Ichimoku, this white lagging span is legitimately just a line chart, like 21 days in the past. Yeah, 3D chart. Oh, we should do that, Loopy. All right, where's Monkeytron? He ain't here because he's a loser, but he should make 3D charts. That would be awesome. Then you have to have a 3D television. Actually, no, I think your web could probably do that. You could have a web interface that makes something 3D, couldn't you? I wonder if that would be beneficial in some way. Someone will do it someday. You know what? You know what, Loopy? I think a 3D chart is a horrible idea. It needs to be a metaverse chart. Because metaverse is the next big thing. That's funny. That's funny. Metaverse chart. Oh my God, Mark Zuckerberg is an idiot. Why would you dump $70 billion into the metaverse? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He wrote Facebook in his dorm room, but he's too fucking lazy to pick up a keyboard. He he needs to get a crack team of like 50 people and say, go make the metaverse. Pay him each $1 million a year. That's all he's got to do. He doesn't need to dump $70 billion into the metaverse. What a douchebag. I feel like he just hired some agency to do it for $70 billion. That's about what they would charge to build the metaverse. At $70 billion, your Facebook, you can afford that. They're like, cool, we'll sign. Ugh, garbage. But this is interesting. This is like the most pointy Ichi thing I've ever seen. Let's get rid of it for a moment. Pretty darn sideways, isn't it? Let's look at weekly for a second. Because yeah, I don't think ETH has ever been this sideways. Yeah. Wonder what each on the weekly looks like. Even each on the weekly, that looks like a big cup and handle, doesn't it? Looks like a beautiful cup and handle. I think the metaverse could be fun, but I think, look, if you have to put a headset on and have special equipment, it's never going to happen. Ever. It has to be something you just like put behind your ear and all of a sudden it puts shit in your optical nerve and you're like in the metaverse or whatever. I don't know. It's got to be a breakthrough because all the existing technology, there's too much of it. It's just too robust as it is. Not everyone's buying a $400 headset. I mean, it's possible if there's something really game changing, but there's just not. And the metaverse has been around for freaking 15 years now. It's nothing new. He's, but he's like a trader just finding trading, thinking he's going to be the next billionaire, and he goes in and loses all of his money. It's exactly what is happening, and it's kind of sad. He probably could. Maybe, and the robot that'll get you, robot that can pretend they're your metaverse girlfriend. I'll just say it that way. But this does kind of look like a big cup and handle on the weekly. Yeah, on the daily you get a lot of context like this. It's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, I think I mean it just goes to show how good Ethereum is. In reality, in terms of crypto, it's obviously the number one crypto. You know what I mean? I mean, Bitcoin is the number one crypto, but this is the number one crypto that does something. That's what I mean. It's like it's just so good. Still holding $1,000. I mean, what more do you want from it, really? All right. Let's move on. What do we got? What do we got? Think we're done. Think we're done with crypto stuff. Um, yeah, we go back to stocks for a minute. Guys, give me a minute. I'll be right back, and we'll go back to stocks. Hold, please. All right, I'm back. You know, it's funny. I came in here and I looked at my screen here, and when I left, my viewership went up. I should leave more often on these streams. That's the key to success. That's funny. All right, let's take a look again at stocks in Tesla, as it's called on the show. Let's go back there. So it's been a kind of an interesting week. I'll just keep on the daily. So we looked at the NASDAQ a little bit ago, talking about the bigger picture. Mike was saying that these legs are having a little bit less volume on the way up. Yeah, they do seem to be difficult to maintain the uptrend. This one, not even able to maintain the same trajectory. We do have kind of a larger uptrend in terms of the angle of attack, and this one much less so, which does not bode well. If you don't have accumulation, usually if you don't accumulate, you distribute. You know, if you don't go up, you go down. And that's kind of where we're at the moment. But we are choppy lower. We're not that much interested in going higher at the moment. It is December, you know, historically not a great month for stocks. Although, you know, some years it could be a great month, but a lot of people go on vacation, especially the second half of the month, and it's the 10th. So we got about a week until people start going on vacation. There's about, you know, 2 weeks at the end of the year where things just get really low volume and weird. And then hopefully by the time the new year comes along, as long as things are still under control, maybe we'll start to see them nibble across the market, which we're not quite seeing this. So let's take a look at, we'll go down the indexes real quick. So there's the S&P underneath its trend line. We did find resistance. We talked about that last week. Dow Jones above the trend line, rolling over a little bit here. Nothing crazy. Russell 2000, this definitely here shows that there's weakness in part of the economy. Double bottom is good, though. I'm hoping we're just going to chop around and not form any major bearish patterns. Here's the transportation index on the NASDAQ, you know, hitting the trend line a couple of times. Again, a slight lower low, but able to bounce back all the way back up is a good thing. If we go all the way back down, that'll be a bad thing. Apple, a little worse for wear, although volume is more muted, which is encouraging. But still, it'd be nice if it were lower volume holding higher, not lower volume rolling over. So this range that it's been in, you can see we're in the lower part of the range. It was looking a little better when we were kind of in the middle of it here a few weeks ago, I guess a couple of months ago, but now we're back down. So that enthusiasm for Apple has waned away slightly. I'm not sure why. Microsoft, another cash cow. This market has been living lower. It's higher, but again, I mean, we're holding some lows. Chop is okay. I don't mind chop. We do something like this, that'll be great. Come back down again, chop, and come back up. Tesla's been at lows, which has been scary. So far, it hasn't broken, though. So far, we've been able to hold these lows, and maybe at some point, we'll try to rally back on through. Apparently, they delivered their first Tesla Semi. I just really feel like Elon's grasping at straws trying to put shit out in the media. Because they've lost momentum. They've lost momentum because they launched their 2 gigafactories, and they're, you know, trying to get scale ramp production. They got all this growth ahead of them, and they're trying to do Cybertruck, and they're trying to do the semi-truck now. But these are all ancillary products. The Cybertruck is not. The Cybertruck is a core product. But the semi-truck's an ancillary product. It's not going to move the stock in any kind of fashion. They don't have a mega charger network built out yet. They're running a little behind with the semi-truck, and I feel that's a misstep on Elon's part. I think we talked about it last stream, where I said I feel that he definitely should have been engineering a lot of these things a lot in parallel with one another, which he hasn't been doing. I have a hard time believing a company of Tesla's size only has one team of engineers that can build a gigafactory. I mean, they just built 2, so they should still be going unless those engineers are still on those Model Y projects. But I don't know the skinny of it. But you know, the market is not content with the growth prospects for the immediate future, is what this looks like to me, at least, for whatever that's worth. Amazon, I don't know why this is diving into the dirt. Last time we said the revenue was much higher than it was, like 150% higher than what it was even over here. I think it was earnings of revenue of 87 billion versus 127 billion. So about, I guess only about 50% more, but still quite a bit. So we'll see. Want the semi under load drain that battery with quickness? To an extent, I guess, Phil. I mean, it's not like a 1,200-mile semi truck. It's only designed to go 500 miles or so. But yeah, I mean, weight will drain it more. You'd hope they've engineered that in there. I mean, they already have, I don't know exactly how many cells in the semi versus the Roadster, or I'm sorry, or versus the Model 3 or the Model Y, but it gets the same range. It gets like 300 to 500 miles. That's what it's designed to do. Do you think Tesla could ever go under, or Elon will always find a way? I don't think they can go under. I don't think Tesla can go under. Whether the stock outperforms or not is a different issue. But as a company, Tesla has arrived. Oh, not Reddit, Finviz. Tesla is legit. Tesla's past the point of no return. Like legitimately, they are not going to go bankrupt. They have a crap ton of cash. So they have 3 billion shares, and cash they have $6 per share. So they have $18 billion in cash. So they're profitable. They're making money. They have a gross margin of 26%, profit margin of 15%. They're not going to go under. They're going to be around. They're another, American-made company that's going to be around for decades. They're well past their point where they could have failed was 2018, 2019. That's where they could have failed. They could have failed any time here. The reason they rallied to such a substantial fashion is because they're not going to fail anymore. It would have to be so grossly mismanaged at this stage of the game, which I guess is possible. But if you believe they're doing the $25,000 car, if you believe that they're going to get Robotaxi, then they're going to. I'm not even talking about the robot, but if you believe those things, they're fine. They're going to be fine. Whether they're going to go back up to 400 or on to 4,000 is a different issue. But they'll be solvent, for sure. Yeah, no doubt in my mind. Yeah, I mean, it's just math. It's just math at this point. If you gave me $18 billion and told me to go make some car factories, I could probably even do that. Let alone the guys that basically invented this modern, dichotomy of manufacturing and electric vehicles. All right, Amazon, living lower in the H pattern, not doing so hot. Again, not sure exactly why this is going on, but it's going on. And it could be a good time to buy some Amazon, but there's a nasty gap here. I'm not a fan of this gap, or this gap. Here it is. I'm not a fan of this gap or this gap. It's starting to look like Meta. Look at these gaps in Meta. Speaking of which, let's remove the drawings. Look at these gaps. Look at that. That's no confidence by institutions right there. Look at the volume. It's just ginormous, and they're so glad they sold at 250, even though it was the day before at 330. They're so glad they sold at 250 because it hasn't touched that since we're down here at 115. And then you have another monster gap and a retrace. I mean, this is just we mentioned this a little bit. This is just horrible what he's doing to this. 27 billion in revenue. What's Tesla got in revenue? It's not 27 billion. Oh, wow, it's pretty close. 21 billion. Jeez. Apple's at 90 billion. So, yeah. Could Tesla triple revenue? I think so. I think they could triple revenue. But yeah, in terms of Amazon, it's not a good look. I have some other ones around here. Square, I'm not even sure why it's on here. I think it was on my list at one point. It just got on here. It's not something I actively look at. ExxonMobil is rolling over after attempting a breaking out here, and didn't really kind of meet any kind of target. Only went up 13-14%. Gold back on the upswing a little bit. Still choppy. Silver doing much better. Back in the range of the channel at least. So that's a positive. Backblaze. My buddy Backblaze. I love this company. Love it. It's just really tiny. I think its market cap right now is It's like 100 million or something. Oh, I don't know. Look at the sell-off at the end of Friday. That's not good. 145 million. Started out at a billion when it IPO'd. But I love the company. Their stock is garbage, but the company's great. ROE negative 54%. Gross margin 51%. Profit margin negative 57%. So they're still in a major growth phase. They'll get their feet underneath them at some point, I hope. I really do like the company. I hope they didn't make a mistake going public. I don't know. Ownership down 2.19%. Budman Gleb sold some stuff. Let's look at CEO and chairman. Budman Gleb, not a name that really instills a lot of confidence. He's all sales. Only worth thousands of dollars. Okay. Wow, but he's gone from 560,000 shares to 272,000 shares. That's not such a good bet, is it? Why would you be slowly selling off all of your shares in 1 year? That sucks. Maybe he's gonna buy it back. I don't know. But I like the product. I like the product. We'll see if they survive or not. All right. AMD. AMD dying. Backing away from a long-term turnaround play yet again. Had an opportunity here. Had an opportunity here. Can't do it. That's a shame. It will at some point, though. Looks like our volume isn't too bad on the sell-off. It wasn't too bad here either. And still rolled over there pretty good. Earnings were down for the first time in a while. 2.78%. 2.17, 24%, 21%. So the general economy hit, and NVIDIA not looking too bad, holding up a little bit higher, better than AMD at the moment. The dollar, let's look at the dollar, and then we'll get out of here. All right, the dollar still stuck in this downtrend. Looks like it is stabilizing out a little bit. RSI sideways. That's what that looks like. Anytime you get those, the RSI is usually going sideways like that. So there's what's called a hidden divergence, and the RSI technically should be somewhat bullish. And we'll see if the dollar starts to go up again, you may see this NASDAQ and the S&P start to roll over again. That has been the pattern within the currencies and the exchanges. So that is definitely something that that should be concerning. Euro, pound, both a little bit higher, which is good. They need to stay higher. We'll see if they stay good. So yeah, a little worse than from the dollar. We'll see if we pop up. It could be good though if we come up here and stall and then just start chopping sideways. That could be good. But until then, we'll see. All right, guys, that's all I got. That's all I got. Let's get out of here. Bring it back to BTC as always, and yeah. You guys, I hope you have a great weekend. Market's kind of garbage right now. A couple of opportunities out there. Really nothing to be super excited about. Just go have a great weekend. Screw the markets. Go have fun. Go spend time with your kids, especially if they're sick like mine. My kid's very sick right now. All right, everyone, have a great day. Stay safe out there.